Redbox Media programming is brought to you by introducing the redesigned CatholicSingles.com, featuring new ways that put the spotlight on the person and their faith, not just a profile picture. For the past 20 years, faithful Catholics have used CatholicSingles.com, and the reimagined CatholicSingles.com website is ready to help single Catholics take the next step in sharing meaningful relationships with other faithful Catholics. Remember, CatholicSingles.com for faith, fellowship, and love.
And welcome back to another episode of Lisa, Hendey, and Friends. The Advent season is upon us and is zooming by super quickly, but it's never too late for us to do something wonderful to help the world around us, especially during this season of giving. So today we've brought a guest on the show who will be able to help us with a really wonderful project. Our guest today is Sandy Pino, who's the Senior Director of Parish and Community Services at Cross Catholic Outreach, a wonderful nonprofit. Sandy has, during her tenure at Cross Catholic, represented this amazing organization at conferences, parishes, schools, and community events all over the country. And she presents the mission of Cross Catholic all over media as well, on radio and television. She really enjoys going with parish groups and school groups to mission trips to different countries like Belize, Guatemala, Nicaragua, and Haiti. And her past experience spans over 30 years as she's gained the expertise needed to help in this very important role with Cross Catholic. Welcome to the show, Sandy Pino. I'm so happy to have you on today.
Thank you for having us.
Well, it's a real treat, and I've heard of your organization before, but this is really my first deep dive into Cross Catholic, and especially into Box of Joy, which is so relevant for this time of the year. Before we jump into that, though, I'd love to ask my guests on the show, just tell us a little bit more about your story, your personal story.
My personal story is like so many of you. I live a faith-filled life, and I try to be obedient. And all of my business experience has just brought me here, I think, as a calling from God to serve, to be obedient to Him, and to His command to help and care for the poor, for the orphans, for the widows. And so I'm really grateful for the opportunity to represent Cross Catholic to the faithful Catholics out there listening right now as an additional way to be obedient and to serve and to bless poor children.
How long have you been at Cross Catholic?
I'm in my 8th year at Cross Catholic Outreach, and Cross has been around for a little more than 15 years, and during that time, we've established really beautiful relationships with Catholic partners across the world who are living in the communities of the poor, and they've identified their most urgent needs. And last year, we distributed almost $300 million of aid to the poor in cash grants and gifts in kind, and over 36 countries with almost 300 projects. And so the Box of Joy ministry that we're talking about today is just an extension of the support giving those most urgent needs to the community and a Catholic evangelization for the children in those communities.
So let's talk a little bit about Box of Joy. What specifically is this project, and why is it so pertinent at this time of the year?
At this time of the year, I know I am, and I think most of the people I know and probably most of the listeners out there are thinking about, after Thanksgiving, we think about our blessings and how abundant they are. We start thinking about Christmas and thinking about Christmas gifts, just the celebration of the joy of Christmas, the birth of our Savior. And we bless people and family and friends with gifts and small, simple things. And actually, it's a beautiful time to bless a child who probably has never received a Christmas gift before. So by packing a Box of Joy and sending it to Cross Catholic Outreach, you can actually make Christmas wishes come true for children who just wish for just one gift and need that joy and that blessing and hope that is represented by that Box of Joy.
I'm sort of coming up with this a little bit tardy for people who want to physically pack their boxes, because this is an initiative that takes quite a lot of, I would imagine, orchestration and time and care. But this is also something that's going to be going on year after year. So say a little bit about how, if we've missed the physical box packing deadline this year, how folks can participate in still giving joy in this way.
There are lots of ways to participate in Box of Joy and to bless a child with a Box of Joy. Certainly, well before the Advent season, we have participating parishes, schools, and groups like Knights of Columbus and the National Catholic Council of Women who participate as a group and do thousands of boxes as an organized unit. And so we had over 600 such participating groups this season. And certainly Box of Joy week has passed, where all of the faithful parishioners and Catholics brought the boxes to the drop-off centers. The boxes have been picked up from those drop-off centers all across the country and taken to our National Screening Center in Miami, where over the next couple of weeks, those boxes will be screened to make sure that nothing is in there that shouldn't be, and to add that very important rosary and story of Jesus to every single box, so we can evangelize our Catholic faith. But since Box of Joy collection week is over, there's still plenty of time for individuals and families to pack a Box of Joy and send it to the address that is on the boxofjoy.org website. And you can also, especially during much of the time where many people are going online to purchase Christmas gifts for families and friends, we can go to boxofjoy.org and select the Create a Box option, where you can have a virtual box packed for you and shipped to children in those 5 countries: Haiti, Guatemala, Nicaragua, the Dominican Republic, and El Salvador this year.
Do those countries change depending on the year? Do you focus on different areas of the world?
We focus on areas where we have established Catholic partners who are already, again, helping us meet the urgent needs of those poor communities. But the only thing that will change is, prayerfully, we will be adding countries every year based on the number of gift boxes and boxes of joy that we receive. So this year our target was anywhere between 70 and 80,000 children to receive a box of joy. I believe we're going to surpass that, and I know that the numbers of groups and participating families is going to grow every single year. So I can't just imagine the number of children who will receive those gift boxes next year. And I believe God is going to bless this important ministry in such ways that it's beyond what we can even wish for.
I did want to ask you about those who form groups to participate in this, because I think as people, I know whenever my calendar hits December, I'm always looking at what are my New Year's resolutions going to be for next year. And so it's probably not too early for somebody who's listening and who thinks, wow, this would be a really great initiative to bring to my parish or my classroom or a women's group that I'm with. How can people get involved in maybe formulating a group, and then how much work is actually required of the person who does that, who takes on that responsibility?
This is a perfect time to decide that you're going to put it on your calendar even for next year, because, of course, participating schools and parishes, a calendar fills up pretty quickly. So people have already signed up for next year, especially those who signed up this year and really loved it, and we're so blessed by the participation, by the way it brought the community together. By the way, it was a project for entire families. Any ages 4 to 104 can work on this project together, grandparents and grandchildren shopping together to fill a box of joy for the gender and age child that they select. And so you can absolutely sign up for your parish. You can be a project leader. You don't have to be somebody who works at the parish or works at the school. You can be a parent. You can be a family member. You can be somebody that just really wants to just step out in a little bit of extra faith and service to bless children. And you can get permission from your priest or your principal to lead this project. We send you all the resources you need. The website, boxofjoy.org, is just filled with resources and videos of the children receiving the boxes and everything that you would need to either pack an individual box and mail it to us now, anytime through the rest of the year, or to sign up for next year as a participating group and really engage your community in service to the poor.
So I'm kind of curious about the destination countries for this year that have been selected. How did you come up with those particular countries this year? That you include a few countries that, frankly, we're hearing quite a lot about in the news in terms of just the desperation and political instability. So how do we come up with these particular countries?
These are countries, again, where we have established Catholic partners who are already supporting in their urgent needs of their community, like bringing fresh, clean water to the communities, orphanages that we support, schools that we provide food for every day so that the children can concentrate on their studies because they have a meal. It may be the only meal they receive that day. So these are established Catholic partners, and truly they come to us and ask us, can we receive boxes for our children this year? And certainly we can't give everybody a box that wants one until everybody out there listening helps us and blesses a child by being generous and compassionate and packing a box. So the more people we have packing boxes of joy for children, the more countries and the more Catholic partners we'll be able to include in the generous distribution of gifts.
I'm sure, Sandy, that you've been on the packing end of some boxes and maybe have done this with family members or fellow parishioners or something. And I'm just wondering if you could say a few words about the benefit that comes to the person who's actually the giver in this, why actually physically do something like this as opposed to just maybe, not that we don't want you to drop a check in the mail. Don't get me wrong. We definitely want financial support as well. But how can maybe involving younger children or teens in the physical packing of something help to kind of bring home the message that we're hoping to send at this time of the year?
I truly believe that the people who pack the gifts in the boxes of joy are just as blessed as the children who receive them. At the screening center, I'm privy to going in the boxes and putting in that rosary and story of Jesus, and I see the beautiful notes that are written by the children and by the families and Christmas cards, and I'll be praying for you this year. I hope you have the best Christmas ever. God loves you, and so do I. And so this is showing poor children that they are loved, and it is such a blessing to the people who are preparing those boxes of joy. I can tell you that it's equal joy on both sides, and we're getting emails and cards and letters from the groups and the parishioners who pack these boxes of joy saying, thank you for giving me the opportunity to do this, and they're so excited about next year. And if I may, I can share that I have been at an orphanage in Guatemala with a Knights of Columbus group from Maryland, and we distributed boxes of joy. We shared those boxes of joy with the children there. And I can tell you that there were tears in the eyes of everyone, and just everybody came back from that trip to Guatemala just determined that we were going to pack more boxes of joy because we witnessed firsthand the joy and the hope and the pure excitement that each child had when they opened that box. These are children who live such desperate lives in poverty, nothing new, nothing for themselves, maybe never a Christmas gift. And they open this little box filled with beautiful, clean, shiny, new things packed in love for them. It makes them feel so special, and I think children all deserve that feeling.
Absolutely. And I think you're absolutely right. I haven't been with Cross Catholic, but I've been in other giving situations like this. And it's always, really apparent to me as a person who supposedly is helping someone else that the blessing really shines back on me. And I often feel like I come away more blessed than the person I'm helping. So that's it's a beautiful vehicle for this. Looking over your website, one of the things that I really found interesting was the core values of Cross Catholic. And I wanted to ask you specifically about two of those. First one, I understand what this means, but I want you to say a little bit more about the idea that one of your core values is a preference for the poor. What does this actually mean in terms of your day-to-day actions and how people get involved in the work you do?
I think what that means is that we are to consider the needs of the poor as we consider our own needs. In the final judgment, Jesus tells us that we'll be judged by what we did for the poor, because when we gave water to the thirsty, when we gave homes to people without safe shelter, when we gave food to the hungry, it was as if we were giving it to Jesus. So we are called to see Jesus' face in the face of the poor. And I can tell you that when we go on those mission trips with parishes and with schools and with Catholic donors, we do see Jesus in the face of the poor. We see beauty, we see faith, we see trust, we see love, we see desperation and lack of resourcing. But we are called as faithful Catholics to be generous and compassionate and to give to the poor. And that is how we measure being obedient to our faith.
And I think it's such an obvious theme in the Gospels that it's so beautiful to have an organization that's been vetted and that's really responsible to do this. And so it brings me to the second one of your core values that I wanted to ask about, which was excellence in stewardship. Now, we have all kinds of folks at this time of the year asking us to participate in charitable giving. What do you want our listeners to know about the work of Cross Catholic and how reliable you are in terms of your stewardship?
Well, I think that stewardship is so essential. Excellence in stewardship is essential to building faith and trust in the people who so sacrificially give, whether it be gift boxes of joy or money, whether it's a very, very small gift, a monthly gift, which is a beautiful blessing for us, or a very large gift to support a specific project. It is our job, our responsibility to be good stewards of those resources. And we commit to you that more than 95% of the value of the cash and the goods and kind that we get goes to the poor, so that you can know that less than 5% is spent on fundraising and administration, because that's what our job is, to resource the poor. And so we're very, very careful about the money that we spend and the way the resources are given. And we restrict gifts as our donors advise and request, and we provide project updates so that we can say that we ask you to come alongside of us to build houses for the poor, to give food to the hungry, and then we provide project updates so that you can know that indeed we did use your funds for those purposes. And again, boxofjoy.org will show some videos of the children receiving the boxes that we're asking you to generously pack and donate to the children. So we want you to see the outcome of your generosity and compassion. It's very important to us.
I love visiting the website and also just checking out all of your social media, because it's so, I love now with video, we can really kind of go firsthand. You know, we can't necessarily take a trip to one of these countries ourselves this Advent season, but we can be there through the beauty of what you're doing in terms of storytelling on the website. It's really great. So I'm kind of curious, when we broaden the discussion beyond Box of Joy, you know, what priorities Cross Catholic has and how families and parishes around the country might become more involved with your outreach giving all year long.
Well, I'm glad that you asked that, because we do have different items and different ways to serve throughout the liturgical year. So we're just finishing up with Box of Joy. We have Advent initiatives that are helping orphans in Kenya. So we have things in the continent of Africa. We have an Easter initiative. We have housing that we're doing for people in Haiti who are living in unsafe shelter. We have water campaigns. We have every urgent need needs to be met in these developing countries. And so throughout the year, we have different opportunities for service and for generosity. So again, Lent, Advent, school year, we have school projects. We're proud partners with the NCEA, the National Catholic Educational Association, promoting Catholic education. And so we have a lot of resources for schools and tools for them to engage in outreach and the works of mercy. And so there are opportunities that abound all year long, because there are so many needs of the poor. They are so urgent. And we are also blessed and have resources that we can share and service that we can provide to make those things be an answer to their prayers.
Absolutely. And can you say a little bit about the Cross Catholic blog and what folks will find there on the blog?
I know that we have a lot of communication writers, some of our project officers, some of our donors who do write entries in the blog so that they can just kind of share a day in the life of what we do. The heroes of Cross Catholic Outreach are our ministry partners who, again, are out there in those impoverished communities, living among the poor, finding out what their needs are, and then coming to us so that we can bridge that gap with the generous parishioners out there in parishes and communities across the United States. And so there's a lot of interesting content on the blog, which really can put you right there to kind of see and feel the anguish of the poor and be called by the Holy Spirit to come alongside them to help. And again, our mission is to transform the poor materially and spiritually for the glory of Jesus Christ. And we mobilize Catholics to make that transformation possible. So every gift, every box of joy, every dollar that goes to resource water or housing or medical support or food or orphan support, all of that is a symbol of God's love and us reaching out to our brothers and sisters in need and resourcing them with what they need and showing the love of Christ.
Let's speak about that for just a moment before I let you go, which is the faith sharing component of this, which is so critical for those of us doing the giving to understand. Are those who receive these gifts already necessarily Catholic, or are you giving regardless of religious affiliation?
We certainly give regardless of the religious affiliation, but the gifts are distributed through Catholic partners who are evangelizing our Catholic faith. So the church and God answering those prayers is a representative of those gifts being given. But to be a recipient of our aid, you certainly do not have to be Catholic. But I can tell you that many, many communities are building thriving Catholic communities because the church is delivering this aid to them. And they realize that it is God who's answering their prayers, and the Catholic Church is coming alongside them to improve their lives and to transform their lives and to bring joy and hope. And so the beautiful thing about this is the evangelization message, but certainly anyone who's hungry or needs whatever they need that we're able to provide, regardless of religious affiliation, those Catholic partners are bringing that help.
I absolutely love that, Sandy, especially during this time when we frankly are praying for our church leaders and for the state of the church around the world, that this can be a visible sign of what we're taught as Catholics to live in our day-to-day lives. And so, to participate and to be a partner with you is just a great gift for those of us who need the hope that a project like yours provides. So that's really amazing. So say one more time how people can get involved with Box of Joy this year if they want to make this a part of their holiday giving this year.
If you can, please and prayerfully make this part of your holiday giving this year, go to boxofjoy.org, and all the resources are there that would give you the address where you can send a fully packed shoebox-sized box, or you can create a virtual box online, and we will pack it and send it to a child for you. And the boxofjoy.org website, of course, is affiliated with our main website for Cross Catholic Outreach, and that will allow you opportunities to see many other ways to engage with Cross Catholic Outreach with your parish, your school, your family, your foundation, your community to help resource the poor and show the love of Jesus.
Well, Sandy, thank you so much. I know this is a busy time of the year for you, so we're so grateful for your time and especially the beautiful work being done by Cross Catholic Outreach. Any closing thoughts before we let you get back to packing those boxes?
Well, we are packing the boxes, and we're doing that with love and excitement and enthusiasm. But we just also pray for all of our generous donors out there. We're privileged to be able to lift up your needs and intentions as well. And I know that many of our donors have needs. We pray for you as a group, as a collective organization, every single week, specifically read over every prayer request and pray in agreement with the needs of our donors here in the United States as well. So I just pray that God will just have abundant blessings for you during Christmas time and throughout the coming year.
Well, thank you so much, Sandy. And friends, don't forget to check out everything about this beautiful project over at www.boxofjoy.org. We'll have links in our show notes for this episode to help you with all the information you need to get involved in this and perhaps to bring it to your parish or your school as well. Thanks, Sandy, for being with us.
Thank you for having us. God bless you.
Thank you. Well, that's it, friends, for this week's episode of Lisa Hendey and Friends. Definitely come on over to the website at lisahendey.com for links to all the things that we talked about today on the podcast and find past episodes as well. I want to thank my good friends at Breadbox Media for their generous hosting of this program and for all they do to bring great podcast episodes to you all week long. So definitely check out my partner podcasts over at Breadbox. If you'd like to help support the show, you can leave a rating over at iTunes for me, or just tell a friend this week about Lisa Hendey and Friends. And as always, I thank you for your feedback. You can drop me an email anytime to lisa@catholicmom.com. Until next week, have a wonderful week, friends, and I'll see you next time. God bless.
Breadbox Media programming is brought to you by Jack Kane Ford. Find your next Ford Tough vehicle at caneford.com. Woodhill Community Center. Have a hand in the heart of the city. Support their mission with your donations at woodhillcommunitycenter.org. Toyota in Nicholasville Superstore. Online consultants are standing by right now to help you find your next Toyota. Visit toyotaonnicholasville.com. Lexus of Lexington, home of the best-selling Lexus IS. Find yours today at lexusoflexington.com.